Hello everybody, welcome to the 41st and possibly final episode of the Chicken Chess Club podcast. My name is Gustafsson, coming to you from beautiful Hamburg, Germany, -2 degrees. But it's not raining, so that's great news. A place where there is eternal sunshine is Paris, where Laurent Fressinet is sitting in his office / living room. Laurent, how is life?
Life is okay. I was in Dresden actually this weekend. And
Beautiful.
It was snowing actually at times. So the weather in Germany is actually worse than in France. Okay, I won't let you down, Peter. And first thing I will mention is that I won a game of chess, a game of classical chess, which didn't happen for the last 12 games because I was on a series of 12 draws, and especially I won a game in the morning. So I can't remember the last time it happened. I mean, like at least 6-7 years ago. So that's a strange feeling. My opponent just made a nice present to me. So yeah.
I think if there is any normal people out there, for Laurent, morning means 10 o'clock, but go on. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the 10 o'clock game, I didn't win for... I mean, I was trying to find out, actually, when was the last time. I couldn't.
Why can't you play in the morning? You have kids, you're used to getting up early, no?
Yeah, but I'm used to getting up early, but then I go back to bed. As I already mentioned in that very podcast. So that's not very good. So it's in around move 10, I already want to sleep again. And this is not good for chess because we should mention that we have this rule in Bundesliga, this 20 moves rule, when you cannot offer a draw before move 20, but then you're allowed to. And this is a very dangerous stuff.
The funny thing is, a lot of people on their score sheet, they mark like move 40 because there's the time control. Like they make a red dot or something. But for Laurent, it's move 20. Yeah. Like just as a reminder. Now you can offer the draw.
Yeah, one weekend I played 3 games and I played 62 moves.
Wow, that's impressive. Still the best paid player per move in Bundesliga.
Yeah. Yeah, no, okay. But when your position is too good on move 20, then it's tough, but doesn't happen very often, yeah. So how is life, Peter? You're in Denmark.
I'm in Denmark. I'm in Holstebro, which, is a small city in Denmark, and we're proud of ourselves for perhaps being the smallest city to have produced 3 grandmasters. Both Bent Larsen, Lars Jandorf, and me had our childhood here. But I'm here because my mother was hospitalized, but she's better now, out of hospital, and so I go here to help her. But like always, I turn anything into a golf holiday, so I'm basically golfing all the time when I'm not helping like this. But generally, she's in good shape, so things are not too bad here in general. So that's what I'm doing these days. So I have plenty of time to sit here and chat with you guys and record podcasts and stuff like this.
Hang on, you must have thought about openings for Magnus while you were
golfing. Sorry, I actually had a note that of course, Magnus is playing a tournament, so of course I'm also doing that. My apologies. I mean, actually, we are recording the podcast now, so I can finalize, the prep for Magnus, who plays in he plays 3.5 hours from now. So no, everything is mapped out perfectly.
The computer is working, right?
Computer is working. Things are being done. Yeah.
Computer on, brain off. This is so yeah.
No. I'm sorry. It was just a slip. Of course. I'm also working on chess.
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for asking. Let's get into.
What happened? You didn't play in Bundesliga?
No, I was still in Gibraltar. I flew back on Sunday, but I'll make my triumphant Bundesliga comeback one of these days.
You're that busy that simply you have conflicting appointments all the time, so you have to choose.
Honestly, I'm saying that, but I just sit there on Wednesdays and see if I get a mail from Sven Oppes or not, and then I fly to Bundesliga or not. I mean, that's the truth, but I'm pretending to be very busy. Couldn't have made it. But my team is winning everything, so it looks like they don't desperately need me yet.
Yeah.
Someone else who's winning everything is Magnus Carlsen in the Champions Chess Tour, which kicked off yesterday at the time of recording. And before we get into it, are we smarter about the format? I was doing commentary on the first division, which is a knockout tournament. Magnus Carlsen and Wesley So were seated for it. 6 players qualified, but it's not your typical knockout. It's a double elimination, which means if you lose, you go to a loser's bracket. And then if you win all your matches there, you can still make it to the grand final. And in the grand final, you don't have to win once, but twice, because the guy from the winner's bracket that you'll be facing in the grand final, of course, will have won all his matches. So it would be unfair if he could get eliminated by just one loss. It's complicated, but sort of fun. I'm curious if there's going to be a big comeback from the losers section. Did you guys follow the action?
Yeah, I followed actually. I followed a bit, and the qualifier which took place on Friday, I followed a bit. Okay, it was very complicated because 56 players were kept on playing because there's 3 divisions, Division 1, 2, and 3. And I was really counting, not on you exactly, Jan, because your co-host on Chess24 is Peter Lecco. So I thought you'd get infos by Peter, our dear friend Peter, who would map out all the regulations and know everything.
I did. He was so excited. He watched all the 8 hours of the qualifiers and some incredible matches, incredible comebacks. Peter was all over it.
But he understood the rules, yeah? So
I think everybody understands the rules sort of by now. But the strange thing is we focus on the Division 1, which is the main division, the knockout tournament. But in the Division 2, you have a field with, I don't know who's playing, Grishuk, Kramnik, Dubov, all kinds of stars. Oh, those were all the wrong nationality. Anyway, moving on. You have a very star-studded field. And we didn't pay much attention to it, which felt a bit odd. But you got to focus, of course, on the main event.
Explain it a bit to me. I mean, so basically they can move up and down in divisions like in football, right? But can they ever quit if someone says, okay, I'm not really going to play? Are they going to be relegated for the 3rd division for the next time, or how does it work?
I haven't seen the contracts. I'm not sure if they're obligated to play in every event. I would guess not. I think, yeah, you can't move up like in between tournaments. Like now they're stuck in Division 2, but the first 2 of Division 2 qualify for Division 1. I'm gonna need more.
Yeah,
okay. More
but I heard there is some another qualifier for the next event. So how does it work for this guy from Division 2? I mean, if you win the Division 2, then you play Division 1 for sure.
Guys, I didn't make the rules. Send your complaints to support@chess.com. But I think it's gonna be exciting. so much action.
Generally, I have to say, I'm a huge fan of the concept that basically, to me, it strikes like some kind of democratical system, right? That basically you have the right to start on the lowest level, and if you just keep winning, you float all the way up to the top like this. I mean,
but you have to be a grandmaster, no?
Maybe you have to be a grandmaster.
It's grandmaster democracy.
Yeah, maybe fair enough. But I mean that you can. Well, you can do that out in the real,
we managed.
real world. I mean, it doesn't seem like a extreme stumbling block, right?
Ask Trent.
Wow, elitism.
Fair enough. Generally, so it's. Well, I still think it's rather democratic, and I like it in that way. And of course, I mean, it's known from the world of shogi that you basically have it for some of the big titles. You have divisions like this where you move up and down, and for instance, in shogi, perhaps the best player in the world is only now managing to climb up the way through the system because he's so young. But I thought here it's very dynamic. Basically, I mean, you can enter Division 3 and win it, and win Division 2 and all the way up in the same cycle, as far as I understand. It's not like you have to take
I'm not sure.
One step at a time, no?
I'm not sure because there's another qualifier. So how does it do it? I mean, maybe you start from 0, the next one. Or maybe Division 2 is... I mean, maybe few players are qualified, but I don't think many of them. Mm-hmm. Because then how do you make the qualifier? I mean, it's not...
No.
So I don't know. But
and also, as Jan mentions, it's incredibly impressive that Division 2 has such strong players. It's actually pretty cool to see, well, world elite players actually trying to qualify for something. I mean, no, I am generally a huge...
Well, there's a 70k prize fund in Division 2. So there, most people like money.
No, it's a very interesting experiment as far as I see it. But, well... Instead of praising, should we also talk a bit about the elite chess in the Division 1, right?
We can do that. So Magnus Carlsen, the world champion, starts off with a fairly smooth 3-0 I don't know, 2.5
2.5, I think.
victory against Sarana. You forced a draw in a winning position in the third game. Wasn't some mild trouble in the second game out of the opening, but other than that, no major stumbling blocks. And frankly, it was a big surprise that Sarana would play the 4e3 Nimzo. It's not like he plays that in every single game. So no shaming the seconds there. What happened?
I didn't notice the trouble you spoke about, but to be fair, I mean,
I checked with the engine. Apologies.
Yeah,
I'm sure
yeah,
Laurent with his human eyes didn't notice any trouble.
I was at hole 17 at that time, trying to wrap up my round of golf, so I was only using my phone. But I thought that again. Well, you look at the engine, I look at the expected value in the game, and I thought it wasn't too bad in an unbalanced position. This will go well. So.
Unbalanced position was a +1 endgame.
Yeah, but let's remind. I think you will correct me if I'm wrong, Jan. But I think it's 10 minutes game.
Most likely
10 plus 3 or 10 plus 2.
I think it's 15 plus 3, but close enough.
Yeah,
It's 15 plus 3.
Yes.
I wouldn't think so, but okay.
Well, you're wrong. The qualifier was 10 plus 2. Now it's 15 plus 3. But
15 plus 3. Yeah, so it's different from last year, which was 15 plus 10.
correct.
Okay, good. Okay. So then I'm wrong and you corrected me.
Glad we talked about it.
Yeah, that's the point of being a commentator, and then you know everything about the rules. Yeah. So
yeah, it's not like if you're helping one of the players.
Or you could follow the tournament or prepare for the podcast. Anyway, what's your point? Magnus' position was good because it was 10 plus 2.
No, but it's not. I mean, it's not the same level of prep. I mean, you are blaming Peter here.
No, of course. I'm just teasing. He won smoothly. And not a surprise, Sarana is a very strong player. I think he's a professional online player, makes quite some decent money in these chess.com events. But of course, Magnus Carlsen is a different level.
Even in World Blitz, he did well, I think.
He beat Magnus.
He beat Magnus. Yeah. Who did he beat to qualify?
I don't know. Peter Leker knows.
I mean, like you check it's a 9 rounds. It was a nine rounds.
No, it was a knockout. He beat someone. Was it actually him who beat Caruana?
Yeah, he beat Caruana.
He beat Caruana, correct.
Yeah, that was the funny part of it. Of the qualifiers, that the guy who finished higher in the ranking could pick his opponent. So Gukesh won the qualifier and he picked Kramnik. That was very funny. That I enjoyed, really a lot. Gukesh is my boy. You're my boy, Gukesh. If you are listening, you picked Kramnik, then Nepo picked Mamedov and lost. Then Caruana picked Sarana and lost. So it was funny. And the last guy that you could pick was, the only remaining guy for Daniil was Nakamura. So nobody wanted to pick Nakamura, but the funny thing is that Gukesh picked Kramnik, and I think Kramnik made some session with young Indian kids, so maybe he noticed there that
he told them not to play bullet. But maybe Gukesh didn't know the rules. He didn't know that if you're half Kramnik's age or less, you're not allowed to flag him. So had he known that, maybe he wouldn't have picked Kramnik.
No, and maybe it's a decent pick. I think at the end of the day, the guy is, let's say, around your age, guys. I would say 40.
We are not the same age.
We're really not the same age, Laurent, and you're not much younger than me. So
no, I think he's the same age. I'm younger. He's a bit younger than Peter, but not much. And he's born in 75, I think. So he will turn 48. And when you play this, let's say 4 hours of rapid online, it's a decent pick to take Kramnik because the guy will get tired for sure.
Well, he won. He was the only one who won against the victim he picked. So can't argue with success.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I think we need a shout out to Dubov. He was the one getting the Nakamura pairing, and he was very close to knocking him out.
Yeah, he was very close. But he made a strange bid actually. He made because these chess.com guys, they are doing a good job by making it entertaining. First of all, this pick, and then you have this bid for color in the Armageddon. So you should say something less than 10 minutes or 10 minutes, and you get black, and the lower bid is taking black. So Nakamura was bidding, because I was following live, 7 minutes and 59 seconds against 10, and Daniel decided to bid 6 minutes and 30 seconds, which was against Naka. You're black and you have like 3.5 minutes handicap, and at the end he was basically flagged. So
that sounds too low, yeah. Because Nakamura is so strong with white, I feel you have to go higher.
I don't know. Dubov knows what he's doing generally. I mean, he might have just hit the equilibrium point, but I thought he actually managed to basically catch up on time with him. So I don't think it was the time that was the main problem, right? And he also had a pretty good position. I think he has the right to feel a bit shortchanged. But you are right, of course. In the absolute last phase, Nakamura was quicker and better, right?
Yeah, that's the problem. That even if he is catching him on time. Nakamura is well known as being the best bullet player. So it's a risky stuff. If you get 30 seconds each, probably you're just screwed, yeah?
Speaking of Nakamura, he won his match against Gukesh, who eliminated Kramnik in the qualifier, but then faced Nakamura in the main event. And Nakamura won very convincingly. Somehow he makes it look easy. I'm not sure how he does it. But yeah, he's just very, very good. And Gukesh didn't really have a chance in that match. I think he even lost 3-0. I'm not sure if the last game he lost or if it was a draw. I think it was 3-0.
No, 3 of the matches was finished after 3 games, which is pretty extraordinary.
Yeah, the third one, and maybe that's the most surprising one and the most heartbreaking for Laurent, of course. Alireza Firouzja played chess, which is fantastic news. Back in business. But he was crushed by Arjun Erigaisi, losing 3-0. Laurent, what went wrong?
Okay, first of all, we should mention that there were a lot of rumors, about Alireza, and, he doesn't want to play chess and so on. So he just showed up, he qualified rather easily, actually. He was in the leading pack for the World qualifier tournament, which is not, it's not a given that you are going to qualify when you see people like Getchuk and other big names in Division 2 or Division 3. Even Le Quang Liam, who did very well in just Champion Chess 2, is in Division 3, I think. So he qualified, but yesterday was a bad day against Erigaisi, who also is doing very, very well in this online stuff. So you lose a game, you get a bit nervous, you want to win the last game. I even saw some tweet. You called one of his moves suicide, and I couldn't disagree. I couldn't disagree, unfortunately, Jan, with you when he played F4.
Well, was it this F4 where he opened his king? Yeah, okay, it was a tough position already, and he tried to mix it with little time, but there we go.
Yeah, but exactly, you are -1, you're white, and you feel you have to do something, because the next game, if you make a draw, the next game is not going, you're black. So, when you are down on a match in 4 games, it's really tough, and he was punished by a very, very strong rapid and blitz player, Arjun Erigaisi. So yeah, it can happen. Let's see. He still has one more chance, so I think he still has a chance.
Yeah, he's in the losers bracket. He can still come back. Do you think he's annoyed the other kids are getting so much of the headlights, and also now, some results, Erigaisi, who's his age, beating him? Or is he still the king of the kids?
He's still by far the king of the kids, so I don't think he's annoyed at all. Because, the kids are incredibly good, and Abdusattorov is doing incredibly well. He played in Bundesliga this weekend. That's funny. After almost winning Vike, he's showing up in Bundesliga. But why not 27-30? But this is very far from Alireza's, 27-85. He was already 2800. So I don't think, actually, the achievement of the kids are really amazing. And saw in Vike, but it's still very far from Alireza's achievement, who already played the candidate. So I don't think he's bothered at all.
So you still count Alireza's rating. It's not like Peter's rating for inactivity that we can no longer say it's accurate.
When was his last rated game? It was in San Luis in August, yeah?
Yeah.
So it's 27-85, actually. And he's 85 and he's 2900 in blitz, so he still has some So I mean, like he did accomplish few things.
No one's doubting he's bad at chess. We just want to see him play more. No one's doubting he's good at chess. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, but he's 2,900 in Blitz. I mean, it means something. I mean, it's not. Maybe he's a bit overrated.
So do you know if he's going to play classical chess anytime soon, or how's his fashion career going? What's going on there?
There's no fashion career. I'm pretty sure he will play. His goal is to become, as far as I know, his goal is to become the next. I mean, not the next one, but after Ding or Nepo, to become world champion. So he will take part in the. I'm sure he will take part in the classical tournaments in order to qualify for the candidates, because that's the way to do it.
Great news. But yeah, credit to Arjun Erigaisi, who just was dominating in that match. Won very, very
and actually amazing after his -5, I think, in Vike. These guys, these kids, they don't get distracted.
Yeah, he collapsed there, but Rapid also, he's been doing great all through the last Champions Chess Tour. Maybe he feels more at home there than in the Hotel Zaytown in Vike after 3 weeks of rain.
Peter, go ahead. You wanted to say something.
No, it seems more like his element, Rapid, right? That's where he's more established and such. And it's impressive that after a letdown in the other format, then he just seems to peak here again. But hopefully not. He's playing Magnus later today after our recording. So,
but it's only 1 week after Vike, and if I would make -5, let's say in Vike, I would need to sleep a couple of weeks. Stay in my home, not talk to anyone, and think about how bad is life. I'm sure Jan would do something very similar to me. So
yeah, I need it no matter what the results in Vike is.
Yeah, exactly. But -5, I mean, I would need a short break.
I'd be happy with -5 in Vike, but different story.
But also, we are sort of saving the best for last. I mean, Jan's favorite player actually won a good match, right?
Our boy.
Wesley. Yeah, I'm not sure it was a great match, because the score was 1-1 after 2 not very eventful draws, if memory serves. And then he was lost in a trendy line of the King's Indian, which they played in the first game. He got nothing. Then he played the computer moves, but still got into some trouble. Because, it's a very tough position to play in Rapid. But Mamedov couldn't convert it, left a couple of excellent winning chances or clear wins on the table. And Wesley somehow won that one, which, more or less sealed the match. The last game wasn't all smooth sailing, but he never came too close to losing, I would say. So he had to pass some ancient moments against Rauf Mamedov, who not everybody might know, but he's been around for a long time, maybe longer than us, Laurent. When I started playing on the Internet Chess Club, MU is back. He was there already.
He's. I'm just checking now. He's born in 88, so he's 35. And this is typical. It's a bit like Sarana, who might be a bit better at classical chess, but still, I mean, this is a blitz and rapid expert. And it's not from yesterday. I mean, also it's been.
But also in classical, he used to be 2,700. He's not.
Okay.
He's not weak, but
no, of course, he's a very strong player. But still, it's a bit surprising to see him in such a company. But actually, it's not a major surprise, because the guy has been playing rapid and blitz, and he enjoys it much more. It's very clear. And he has been playing a bunch of blitz on ICC before, as you mentioned, but also nowadays, all this Title Tuesday and so on. So it's a lot of training, and it's very, very much different from classical chess.
And he's one of these guys you could see it being a disadvantage in the last game against Wesley, who play a very fixed repertoire, which works nicely in rapid and blitz, and especially in blitz if the opponents can't prepare. I think most of his games he plays, let's say, e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, d4, ed, bishop c4. And then after knight f6, he will go e5, and after bishop c5, knight g5. But of course, if you're facing a world-class player who knows this is coming because you already played it earlier in the match, then it's going to be rough to win with that. And maybe, that's what makes him so strong in blitz, but has some limitations for other things. Doesn't seem in love with opening work.
You're basically saying if people has time to look up your chessable course on the subject, right? Then
yeah, you can watch my course or press the button on any engine. It's not exactly rocket science now.
Maybe
right?
it's not. No, you could be right, but I generally agree with you that. I mean, maybe this is, as you say, also in the qualifiers, he seems stronger than he is here in the playoffs. Having said that, I was very impressed with him, both against Nepham and against So. I mean, and I think this is quite interesting with this format. With Nepham, it was, well, it seemed like reasonably deserved he qualified, as far as I remember, right?
I didn't watch the match, but yeah, eliminating Nepomniachtchi is an impressive feat no matter what.
Yeah, we must say that we are not, I mean, it's very difficult to follow everything, especially in the qualifiers, so many games. We won't cover here Division 2 and Division 3 because, I mean, there's too many games played. I mean, simply, you cannot keep track. I mean, it's impossible. I mean, I think you are only commentating on Division 1 on Chess24, Jan.
Yeah.
And it's already enough. Even Peter, maybe Peter Leko is complaining about that. He would like to cover all the divisions.
He's a bit upset when the Division 1 games are over and I want to go on a break. And he says, no, there are games in Division 3 still going on. No, he just loves chess. It's always a pleasure to work with Peter.
Yeah.
So today at the time of recording on Tuesday, we have Carlsen versus Erigaisi and Nakamura versus So. I enjoy Nakamura So matches. Like, they're different, but also in a way similar. Both very, very hard to beat. Both very, very good at rapid and very good calculators. Should be fun.
They faced off in the Global Championship, right?
I don't recall. I recall Wesley won that one. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I thought they played in the semifinals there. And basically, I mean, you describe it rather well in terms of that. But it's difficult for both of them to get somewhere. They're both incredibly solid and quite often living on sort of others pushing them. And, well, you know, that was pretty sort of a tight match, but I think that So won it in the end. I really hope that they played each other, else I'm just making all this up, which would be a bit peculiar in a way. And then, of course, Magnus. But also, well, this means that all these four we mentioned are sure to be playing on Wednesday, right? While the other ones is facing real elimination, I assume. Right?
Yeah, and the losers brackets, they have their backs against the wall now, but still have a chance to come back.
So basically, also, let's say Magnus and Erigaisi is playing tonight, but they could still be playing in the final, as far as I understand, right?
Anyone can play in the final.
Anyone who's in the tournament can play in the final.
Well, not two players from the losers bracket, right? Only one of them can get them.
Yeah.
Oh, that was brilliant math. Congratulations, Peter.
Thanks a lot. And then also, what we are saying is that the final will be, well, let's say you win the first 3 matches, then you don't play the 4th day if you rest, but you're into the final, right? Or how? No, there is 5 days of play, right?
Is there?
Or is it only 4 days?
I'm only doing commentary from 6 till 10, so that'd be surprising. I think it's just 1 day. Like, I mean, it's 5 days total, but not the final.
Sure. Mm-hmm. So basically, and if you come from the losers bracket, you have to win the final and then to win an Armageddon game or something like this, right? Or how is it?
No, you have to win the final twice. That's the difference. If you win from the winners bracket, then you won because the other guy lost 2 matches. Well, if you win from the losers bracket, you have to win again because the other guy only lost 1 match. So. But
it's not like there is this draw advantage for the one, right? I mean, it will be Armageddon games in the final, and then, I mean, let's say the winner.
I can't describe the format any better, Peter.
No, but you remember in the previous editions of those that when they played two finals in a row, well, the final was over 2 days. If you had won the first final, you would win overall by playing 2-2 in the next one. But
no, that's in Armageddon then.
Exactly. Here, if it's 2-2, it's not like the winner has won. Then it is an Armageddon, and if the loser wins it, then they play again, right? I understand I'm explaining it brilliantly. I'm explaining it brilliantly. Move on. Yeah. I think
moving on. Yeah. It's a fun format. Peter's right.
Yeah.
What else is happening in the world of chess? Bundesliga, we covered. Laurent won a chess game. I think we have to address the big story all over Reddit chess. Badur Jobava banned from chess.com prize tournaments for the year 2023 for, racist remarks on, I think it was his Twitch stream. No, I saw the video.
It was.
I would guess it was on his Twitch stream where he was talking to a mod from chess.com. he was unhappy about losing to whom did he lose? Suk Sang-yu. And asked for him to be banned and uttered some not very nice racial slurs and curses. Look it up. I don't want to misquote, but it wasn't very pleasant. I'm not going to repeat it here.
No, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure there's much to say on it. Takes?
No.
No, yeah. Of course, it's not what Jobava did is, of course, not acceptable. So, yeah. Also, he's accusing someone without any, just played the game, lost the game. Accusing someone, so it's racist and an accusation without any evidence. Well, that's too much. So yeah, I mean, then chess.com decided to punish him, and it's a private company, so they would do whatever they like in that tournament. So yeah, not more than that.
I think you see it also quite in football. There has been some cases of that, and even very famously in fantasy football. You remember the year when Magnus was very close to winning this big overall fantasy thing with like 6 million players, and on the final day he didn't manage to win, but someone else won. People thought, but it was not announced for like a day or two, simply because they were investigating sort of private racist, some racist remark in a football chat, and after 1.5 days, they announced someone else as the winner. So I mean, private service takes this very seriously, and I guess that chess.com does as well. They have a policy that you have to sign in order to enter the events, and if you don't, then then you get kicked out. So I mean,
no, of course, some may argue that it was in the heat of the moment. I saw that on Twitter. By Volokitin. Yeah,
but I'm tilted after every loss too, and usually I manage not to use racial slurs.
Exactly. But I mean, I would point out that Peter is making some strange remarks about French people when he's losing to me in Blitz. But yeah, that's different, I guess.
For a start, I think I more often win, so I don't think it's comparable.
Yeah, talking about saucisson, baguette. This is very unpleasant, but not to the level of Jobava.
We
know there's no bigger victim of racism in the world than you, Laurent.
No,
but
I think thanks for the comparison. I think I don't think
there's a strike today in France. Yeah. There will be some demonstration outside.
I can imagine.
We want to work less. 62 years old.
He's baiting us.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think about that? Yeah. Peter, give us a comment about the strike today and the demonstration which will take place actually in my street. I mean, not only in my street, but they will pass through my street. So what do you think about that, Peter?
I think it's very far from the subject we're discussing, which is a rather serious one. I think you're
okay. So yeah, I'm trying
you're not helping here
to make it a bit more relaxed,
But I mean, no, I think it's reasonable. There is some kind of punishment, and I understand. I understand the heat of the moment thing, but you do a lot of things in sport in the heat of the moment. Some of them we have decided is unacceptable, and we punish them anyway. I think that's how it should be. I assume there will be no legal consequences, but what do I know?
Let's move on to the Women's Grand Prix currently being played in Munich, Germany, where Alexandra Kostenjuk, hang on, is that true? No. Yeah, she's in the lead with 4.5 out of 5 as we speak, having a great event. Yeah, I wasn't sure if they had played more games, but no, not yet. Everybody else not crushing the field yet. Conero and Zagnitze on 3 out of 5. And the Musichuk sisters, Peter, transitioning to your topic, are both on 50%, including the game against each other. The German participants, Dinara Wagner has been suffering, made 2 draws now. Petz is on 50%. Have you guys been watching the Women's Grand Prix closely?
I have been watching some, and I think yesterday Kostenjuk was very, very close to losing. She was basically a pawn down against, I think, Harika. And it was, it looked completely winning. It was just not it was a past pawn, and it looks like white also had the initiative. But somehow she managed to break out and got in a perpetual. So that I definitely noticed.
I saw as well a game. I mean, I saw the opening against Tang Zhongyi. I was not impressed. I mean, she was basically lost after 10 moves. I saw some part of it, like when she pets hunger piece. Like she played bishop f4, and actually, I mean, because she blundered. I mean, that could be missed actually. That the queen on a4 was controlling e8. I mean, it happens. But yeah, no, I'm not really following. And I saw, of course, the game of the tournament, the very exciting first round between the Muzichuk sisters. This Benoni with sacrifices all over the place. Yeah, it ended up in a perpetual. It looks like a game from the French Championship to me, Peter.
That's what I also think, and I think people were tweeting about that live. Even I was offering Mr. Sutovsky a bet that if this game is not a draw, I will never tweet about FIDE again. But it seems like I got saved there. But well, actually, the reason I follow the event is to some extent also that FIDE covered is quite a lot of its Twitter account, which I obviously follow for other reasons. So I get the news like that all the time. But well, there was the game you mentioned in the first round that was a bit controversial, and well, I also noted that we have been told not to refer to it as women's chess anymore. It should be like the game of chess played by women instead. So if you want to be woke like me, you have to try and phrase it like that in the future.
Woke like you?
Just FYI. And stuff like this. But no, I think you mentioned the Kostenjuk game where she was worse in the opening. That's true, but she actually managed to drum up an interesting attack in a way. So for me, it's quite interesting. I think also the Chinese players has been doing rather poorly, is my impression, right? I mean, normally they have been crushing quite recently. So I thought that was a bit interesting. I think, for instance, in the candidates, they were doing incredibly well, but that's normally Jan's field of expertise.
Yeah, but it's only one of the stars. Now, Tan Chongji, she's on 50%, and Shu Jine, she's on -1, but she's a tier below. And my favorite, Lei Tingzhe, is not playing. So what can you expect? Lei Tingzhe would have crushed the field.
You think she would have? Okay, it's just simply, I mean, I am just putting them into the one country basket, not looking at them in the right way. So I apologize.
You and Jobava.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks. That escalated quickly.
So let's make it clear. The Muzichuk sisters, they already made a draw, and in a way, it's understandable, even if they're both playing in the elite. But have you ever played against your wife in a competitive game, Peter? And it's a genuine question. I mean, is it like something accepted, or I mean, I don't know.
Again, you get this. Well, I get this impression you're not following my Twitter. I have said that I have beaten my wife in a competitive game, and this is a mistake you only do once. So,
okay. Yeah, she was your wife at that point.
Not at the time, but well, she still was anyway. So apparently they missed.
So you'll fix draws in the future.
Yeah, we are not. None of us is playing actually. So I mean,
yeah, that's a pity.
That helps. But no, well, I mean, actually, once we played for third place in the Politiken Cup, what is it called? Blitz tournament. And, well, basically we just made draws. We didn't agree, but it was clear none of us was trying to win. And I think I told them, maybe, why would you let us play an Armageddon game? Maybe let's just call the match a draw. And they said, well, why not? So, I mean, I have managed to bend the rules even further, but... well, I think this one is a bit different. This is actually a qualification tournament for the World Championship, and I mean, well, I think at least
it's difficult to imagine, with all due respect.
Speak about it openly. I have, written a chess column about it where I ask you, well, is this sort of accepted max fixing? Do we all believe, if everybody thinks it's a fixed game, and for instance, you can see the bookmakers are not going to give any kind of odds on it? Well, I mean, we should at least figure out if you can do anything about it, or just say that you can do whatever you want. I mean, why should Laurent be forced to play Sunday morning in Bundesliga as well and stuff like this?
He's not really forced to play that often.
No, that's true. I mean, but no, I don't know. But well, it's a strange system, right? For instance, in tennis, let's say what do they call it?
But there's no draw in tennis. In chess, if both players are comfortable with a draw is very, very hard to avoid whether it's fixed or not. Like, as you
are too quick. I took a breath of air, and you took the what I wanted to say.
Sorry, that was your punchline. Sorry, go ahead.
That was my point. You took my punchline. That the Williams sisters, well, they probably don't like to play each other in tennis either, right? But
but you must have a winner in tennis.
Yeah, now we repeated it twice. If I say it as well, then I think the listener should have gotten it.
No, I was thinking about my chicken brother Jan, which I'm dreaming to play every Sunday morning. To have Jan in front of me and to it would be like you and Victoria. We would not need to talk much.
No, we're talking required.
No. Yeah. Understood.
It's a bit sad, and we grew up in this culture. It's not ideal, and I think chess is changing. It's becoming more combative, and of course, you could argue there's a small difference between a Sunday morning Bundesliga game or a World Championship qualifier. I don't have a strong take. I don't think there's a fix by any rules if you have two sisters who don't want to beat each other and they're both world class and will face each other in these events. I'm not sure there's that much that can be done about it. Of course, you could argue if one suspects that they're composing too beautiful a game, if that's necessary, if it wouldn't be better just to play whatever. Yeah. The Berlin play knight takes e4, d4, knight d6, de, knight b5, a4. Make it more open. Like
I would really prefer that, as well.
Yeah.
And then it would be less. I mean, like it's a bit weird to do it that way, but it's true that the new generation is kind of is fighting. Of course, it was an influence by Magnus. I mean, it was clear that the previous generation, Kramnik and Anand, were more inclined to offer quick draws. I remember this game in French league between Kramnik and Anand, paid per move, like they played 15 moves in the Spanish, that was maybe the most expensive, the most well-paid game per move ever played. Which I mean, they are beating my Bundesliga games by very, very far. So the new generation, of course, with the influence of Magnus, who actually doesn't offer those except in the last games of World Championship match, basically. Just played everything till the end, and the new generation.
He offered draw in World Championship match games? I don't recall.
Against Caruana in the last game? I mean,
like this, but that's not to win. Okay, I thought you meant when he was cruising for a win. No, of course.
No. He offered the draw. I mean, just during the game, but in general, he doesn't do it at all. I mean, like saying I offer a draw. It is not part of his vocabulary.
Yeah, but it's not just offering draws. It's also in the past there were these peace agreements between players for a year or a couple of tournaments, and I think some are still in place even to this day. But this is not really a practice that's done by younger players at all. Which, I think the game is changing for the better in that respect. Maybe also with all the online action and things needing a winner, there's not that much interest as there used to be in getting a rest day here and there.
There was some quick draws in the last round of the qualifier, but basically that's the problem of the qualifier.
Yeah, okay, but that's a sportive decision.
That you cannot. I saw some two moves games. Just offer.
No, we still have all these Berlin quick draws and so on. If the format benefits them, of course, the players they will bend the rules if they can. But I don't think this culture of whatever you want to call it, pre-range draws or. Wink agreements is there anymore.
So basically you are saying that the youth generation, they are more becoming rational than they are chickens, right? I mean, they will do draws if it benefits them in the tournament situation, and
I'm not even sure if it's chicken. I think it was just more part of the culture for
exactly.
80s, 90s, 2000s, and it's gone away. Like
Even Kasparov, I mean, in his early matches with Karpov, I mean, he was a great fighter all his career, but its first match against Karpov, I mean, there's a bunch of 10 moves, 15 moves though, which is, I mean,
you are aware the match was rather long, right? I mean,
and okay, there were timeouts. Of course, I'm aware. I was reading
three months about like this. Right? I mean,
sorry, more It was 6 months.
Yeah. Karpov losing heavy amounts of weight and stuff like this. I thought Kasparov did it quite brilliantly, dragging it out in a way. But I genuinely agree. Sport shouldn't be like this, obviously.
I mean, like, it was a bunch of 10 moves. I mean, you may think it's fine, but I don't think
it was 10. It was not 10 move draws.
It was 10 to 15. I mean, like, we can check. Okay. We'll check that.
No, and also not everything was broadcasted live back then. Of course, the good games make the history books, but also check any tournament from the 80s and whatever. Karpov's black games, but really pick any player, and there will be a lot of uneventful games. Doesn't mean they weren't great. It just was a different world.
But it still happens, but things are definitely improving. So it's perhaps not the biggest problem indeed. Yeah.
Sure. All right. I think we've covered the ongoing chess action. Peter, are you mentally, physically ready for everybody's favorite corner, the 5 minutes of FIDE?
Not fully, but I mean, I can do it if I have to.
You don't have to at all.
No. I think it's it's part of the product, right? So yeah, we can do that.
Yeah. So he does it
Let's
now.
go.
Oh, how does that work? And it's uninterrupted. So I want to interrupt first, and then we won't interrupt you, right?
No, let him focus. I'm staring at the timer here. It hasn't started yet.
Yeah. No. We can do it now for sure. Well, first of all, I think it's important to mention that in the previous week, 2 chess clubs has actually been hit in Ukraine, both in Kherson and in Kramatorsk has been hit by the Russian army's shelling. It's actually quite 2 historical places. One of them is in Kherson. I think famous games has been played, for instance, the tournament by Kramnik, where he won a very, very famous game in the Svesnikov against Brodsky. Probably it was some bishop takes f6, knight d5, f5, bishop d3, and queen h5 line, where Kramnik played an extremely beautiful combination, attacking the long castle king, and you can find it in the history book. But it was played, I think, exactly in this place in Kherson that was hit by the shelling last week. As well, also the club in Kramatorsk is quite famous, and this was also hit by Russian shells. I mean, you can see the pictures online, and it's a typical chess clubs in terms of you can see the pictures of all the world champions of other famous players and other famous games. And I think also Kramatorsk is known for being this kind of title factory to a certain extent. I mean, most famed Kayakin was getting his title there. There's obviously a lot of controversy about his titles, in the sense that, if he got it as the youngest ever, there's rumors about titles being bought and stuff. I think even in recent years, there's been a couple of articles on that you can also find online. Let's not go into details about that. In sort of more perhaps FIDE news, Nigel Short is on tour again. I mean, we have covered his tours recently and extensively, and I think right now he's about to go to, I actually forgot which country in Africa he's going to first, but I'm sure we will follow his tweet and we'll keep you updated to where he's sort of spreading the joys of chess. A very interesting thing, of course, also was that Magnus came with a statement yesterday to Norwegian News after his game with Sarana, where he said that probably he's changing his mind towards that sanctions against Russian players. He generally said that in the beginning he thought it was too early to sanction the Russian athletes and chess players, but now perhaps it's more time. It's more the time to do it. And it's interesting in terms of that. That's very much a different direction, let's say, than the IOC, which are talking about, IOC is talking about maybe we should start removing sanctions. But I think Magnus, as far as I read him, it's not something I have spoken with him about at all, is talking about that, with these things going on and on, the logical step is putting in more sanctions rather than saying, okay, you did something atrocious and you keep doing it. well, we will remove the sanctions. Which kind of signal is that to send? So he's sort of at least moderately debating if it's time to put sanctions on Russian players, and he said that probably it's the way it should be. But well, it's a developing story in the Norwegian media like that. Then what else? Of course, we can talk about sponsorships in various events. We've spoken about Gazprom in the tournament in Serbia, and well, also the World Championship is upcoming. I think a recent interesting news bit was the head of the Russian Chess Federation, Filatov. He's well talking about some of his billion deals in Uzbekistan, but I have not exactly. He's made up a statement on their webpage saying that he's sort of denying the rumors in the Western press. I have not been able to find any kind of rumors in the Western press, so I'm somewhat puzzled what happens there. And then also the famous FIDE sponsor, FIDE organizer of World Cup and Olympiads, the governor of Kramatorsk, Natalia Komarova. She came out, or they have a video of her of 2021 that went viral recently, where she was praising war, like war is love and stuff like this, basically praising the Second World War to kids, but a very strange thing there that also got quite some traction. But yeah, that's more or less it for this week. And now Jan and Fressinet seems to have had a cup of coffee, so we can go back to chess.
Those were 5 minutes of FIDE. Thank you so much.
I was listening. Jan was not listening. I will. So we lost all our listeners. And I would like to ask my question. So we don't have any listeners, so we can just talk, Peter, very freely.
No, I generally, on the contrary, we have listeners who even write passionate tweets about that, They like our dialogue about this thing.
Actually, I mean, just one thing that the kayaking, I didn't want to interrupt because that's the deal. The kayaking story made it to the New York Times even. But yeah. No, just I wanted to mention nothing more about it. No, I was annoyed this week because I saw the summary of Europe Échec. Europe Échec with a French magazine owned by Bashar Quatley. Who is Bashar Quatley? Is former FIDE deputy.
Hang on. Before you get into whatever your rant you're getting into, is this a new thing? Do you have like 5 minutes on French chess politics?
No, I have 5 minutes every 40 episode. I think it's fair.
Okay. No, it's fair. I just
you can have on German politics, or we can read aloud the brilliant. We should read one time the brilliant letter of Neidich 10 years ago.
That is a classic.
That's my favorite letter ever.
Yeah.
No, I think it's if you take it a bit. It's a long time now, so I think people can laugh about it. So yeah, I saw some commentaries from Peter who is criticizing FIDE on a regular basis on Twitter.
So far, there's nothing I can deny. Yeah,
and it's former deputy president who was deputy president for 4 years and actually a candidate for the presidency of FIDE, but of course he dropped out 5 minutes before the vote. So why are you still contributing?
Were you talking about Quatley? Just trying to fill in the listeners somewhat.
Yeah, Quatley is the owner of Europe Échec, and Peter is annotating games for them. So I don't get why. He's criticizing heavily the guy on Twitter, and then he's working with him.
But wow. I don't get your point. I mean, I don't think Quatley should be sanctioned. I mean, that is a bit strong, right? And I'm used to working with people that are both French that I don't necessarily like. I mean, you are allowed to have some kind of business relationship, I hope, right? Or, I mean, no, what is... Okay. No, I mean, well, I have said openly that I am not a fan at all at Quatley. I also ran against him in the...
So if Sutovsky would be owner of a magazine, you would be annotating games?
I wouldn't think so particularly, no. I mean, but I mean, well, also, I mean, I have worked for them for a long time. It was a bit news to me that they were owned by Coyotli, to be honest. It took a while before you spoke about it, but I think to necessarily boycott a magazine like that. I have been commenting games to...
No, of course, it's a great magazine. When I was a kid, I was reading Europe Czech, and it's a great magazine.
I have been commenting games to the Russian magazine 64 as well, but that I stopped, for instance, when there was the full-scale invasion. So, I mean, I think also to directly stop commenting for Europe Czech is a bit much, in my opinion. But again, well, you might have more info on this case, and I would be very interested. You should tell us about it if you have incriminating stuff to share, basically.
People can't see Laurent's face. Normally, he is disinterested, smiling ironically. That's serious now. This is his one serious topic.
Yeah.
No, okay, I don't know. Okay, you are tweeting a lot about it, only about FIDE. So I really wanted to know how it works. So yeah, okay, you answered, but I'm not still not convinced. But yeah,
I'm not a fan of Coyotli. I have said that in a lot of ways. Stuff like this, I think I would never ever vote for him in FIDE, and I have exactly also tweeted about him, and at some point I think some were trying to say we should have collusion with Coyotli for the FIDE elections. We were strongly reacting to that, saying absolutely no way. If anything, I think I'm very sure that Coyotli was colluding with someone else than us. But well, now I'm probably accusing of things I can't prove for a change. Anyway,
Okay.
any more of my employers we are going after, or should we take Jan's or yours, or how does it work?
no, it's fine.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh, tense.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
And how do we lighten... Nah,
Yeah.
it's fine. How do we lighten the mood? Do we have questions from our beloved listeners? Let's have a look. AJ is saying, at non-fractional, how do each of you rank in your national all-time achievement list as a chess player? And how much thought have you given to this question? Mind Games 2012 can be considered for the answer, even though it's not a real chess tournament. Wow, some shots fired there.
Yeah, that's amazing, actually.
I haven't given it much thought because I'm probably not ranking high enough, frankly. So let's get to the Mind Games winner, Laurent.
No, I didn't think about it, but no.
Are you in the top 10 list of greatest French chess players of all time?
I'm pretty sure we have had that debate at a training camp. I think the answer was no.
Top 10 of French top players? I mean, of course I am.
But you have all these greats, no? You have De La Bourdonnais, Canal.
Come on. How many 2700 players? That I can answer. Only 4 2700 players in the world history of France. So I'm part
But
of that.
someone like Philidor, for instance.
Who's that? Ali Reza, Bacro, Maxime, and you?
Actually,
Romain Edouard?
Romain Edouard. He was once 2700. So it's 5. Yeah, with
Joël Lautier? Spassky?
He was not 2700. Okay, of course, Lautier and Spassky had better careers than me. But I'm definitely in top 10.
So you don't count all these great champions from the Café de la Régence being the best players in the world.
De La Bourdonnais?
Of course.
For example.
Well pronounced. Respect.
He was...
Philidor?
he
Was he
was,
French?
you think he was better? He was in the world. He was.
I think you would probably beat him in a match, but I would think he was better comparatively.
You think so? Yeah, but as players, different period. It's always the same. Actually, I'm the record man of games played in the French national team. So that I'm the number one there. So I have like 160 games, maybe more even now. So yeah, that I have the record. So it's only what matters. I'm representing my national team.
Wow, shots fired to Ali Reza and MVL.
Yeah, but I never thought about it. To be
No,
fair,
I'm pretty sure we sat down and did it at some point. And Laurent, it's a borderline case if he's top 10 or not, I would say. But I mean,
but you are trying to annoy me. Probably you.
So who's the top 10? It's MVL, Ali Reza,
Quatli.
Bacro.
According to
Bacro.
Peter, it's
No,
Quatli is number
serious.
3. Yeah,
Bacro, Lautier, Spassky, does he count as French? Maybe not in that context. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Not sure. I think his best results were not as a Frenchman.
Alikain. I mean, if you count Spassky, you should count Alikain as well. I mean, it's a weird question.
Yeah, we're getting to Alikain.
If you count Alireza, you should also count Alehain, right?
Christian Bauer.
Stop that immediately. No, okay, it's I mean, it's difficult to, I mean, we already talked about it, and it's difficult to compare period actually.
For sure.
So,
for Peter, however, Peter from the tiny nation of Denmark, you must be at least in the top 10 more.
Yeah, thanks. Top 10 I think I make, but well, I mean, I have, of course, again, made a social media post about it at some point as well. And again, it depends how you count. If you, for instance, calculate best world ranking according to sort of chess metrics, I don't think I make top 5. Maybe I make top 10. But, well, we have like, obviously...
Okay, so who's ahead of you? Larsen is, of course, ahead of you.
Yeah, Nimzowitsch, there is no doubt, obviously.
Depends if you count him as...
Danish citizen. So, I understand. Well, then we also have people like Jens Enevoldsen, and there was a couple of others. Now, embarrassingly, I've forgotten the name as we speak. But I mean, in modern times, well, it becomes me and Kurt.
But wait about a career, you or Kurt Hansen?
Yeah, that would be. I mean, I'm sure some would say that he was much higher ranked on the,
No, I think Sune Berg-Hansen has better career, no?
Yeah, I that's close, but I don't think you can back it up with statistics. But
all the Hansens are maybe ahead. Last book.
Well, Kurt Hansen was number 13 in the world at some point. That close I was not at all, but of course maybe the competition was a bit lower at the time. You could argue.
What was your best world ranking, Peter?
I don't know, 30 something, I think.
Okay, so I'm beating.
I guess basically when I was I beat Bacro in the first round of Dortmund. That's probably when I peaked in terms of world ranking, stuff like that. Then, well, I would argue that getting far in the World Cup has some relevance as well. But no, Denmark has quite some players. If you go back, we also won silver at the Olympiad and stuff like this.
So how about Germany? Lasker, number 1. Keimer, number 2. Gustafsson, number 3.
No. I would guess Hübner. Hübner is number 2 still. Vincent, of course, has potential to overtake him, but he has to be number 2. I'm not sure. Maybe Keimer is number 3
already. Yeah,
I might be doing injustice. No, maybe not, because we had all these Ullmann, Unzicker, and so on. I'm not sure what their historic records were. Neidic, of course.
Then also, when we were doing our series of top 50, we were debating what is it called, Paulsen, or what is I forgot.
Yeah, that's always a tricky topic. Yeah. Like guys from the 1800s, where you rank them, but certainly there were some very dominant players. We also had some nerves we I'd never heard of from like the 1700s, 1800s, where some German guys were the highest in the world. So it always depends how you want to go back. But yeah, I don't think I'm making the top 10. I, however, won a team competition with Germany, which is the one thing I have on you guys. So I have to mention it here.
That actually someone brought up in a tweet that what about medals in World and European Juniors? I mean, I have a bronze medal. Laurent can probably beat that, right?
I was twice second of the world under 14 and 18.
Yeah. I was afraid of that.
And I was one time third in European as well, bronze. Yeah.
So we don't calculate junior time. I just want to make sure.
Yeah. And you have some medals in youth competition, Jan? No.
I got nothing. No, I had to win last round once to get bronze or whatever, but I failed in under 18, and I wasn't that strong as a kid.
I think I needed a draw in a World Junior to get bronze, but I failed. But of course, I got the bronze on the 18. Number 2 was Kramnik. Can you guess the winner?
Sakaev.
Zarnicki.
No. Zarnicki won World Junior. This is
Halifman.
under 18.
Halifman.
He lives in the Netherlands now.
Tivyakov.
Exactly. Yes. Tivyakov was dominating my generation for a while.
But you have very strong guys, yeah.
Kramnik was too young to play. He just chose to play in that thing. But I remember he played the next under 18 I could also play, and I got this impression that Sakaev was really the big talent. He was very serious.
Yeah, it's what I heard, that Sakaev was better
than... Not taken very seriously and such, but this turned out quite differently. But that was the evaluation at that point, that Sakai was the coming star, while Kramnik, we're not too sure about that.
When I played under 18, Ponomarev crushed the field and he was like 4 years younger than me. So it doesn't speak for my generation. All right, last question here from Camelia Gomez. She's saying, thoughts on the FIDE circuit thingy? Yay or nay? What would be a better alternative? I think we talked about it a bit in maybe the last episode.
No,
I'm fine with it. Can't say I really understood how it works and what points you get for what tournament and so on. But the general idea that you have to be active in the circuit and get rewarded for that sounds good.
Now Peter is very happy. Look at him. He's like stretching himself.
Yeah, it's a bonus FIDE minutes. Yeah, he's warming up.
So I will talk forever, about things I don't care about and won't let him speak. Yeah, it makes some sense. Yeah, I mean, it's not. I didn't understand the system. I mean, like the system is you play as good as you can and you try to score points and you qualify. So it's not too bad. It's very democratic, Peter. Don't you think?
Why? I mean,
Because anyone can qualify?
Well, that's not true. Someone just won Weigand C and got a buckload of points, and
who won?
That's an invitational tournament. So, I mean, on the contrary, not at all. It's not democratic. It's not like everybody has free access to these things. So
You cannot qualify through the opens?
You can. You just get much
harder,
much less points. So, I mean, theoretically you can, but in practical terms you cannot. So that's no. Well, but now you distracted me. Well, you didn't change my conclusion, which definitely is a nay. But my main point is that, it's moderately parasitic. I mean, FIDE should create events themselves rather than just have everybody else event as qualifying. There should be more creators rather than just, it generally gives away the inability to create events themselves, is my impression.
Beautiful. On that note, this is for today's episode of the Chicken Chess Club podcast. We might come back next week with the exciting conclusion of the Champions Chess Tour 2023. More on Bashar Kouatly and all the other fun segments you have come to love. Thanks for listening. Subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Rate, review. Listen to it multiple times. What could go wrong? We need the support badly. Until next week. Bye, guys.
Thank you.